If the movies are telling stories about real people and the times we live in, the actors in the movies are redefining stardom. Leading from the front is Anushka Sharma. Since her debut in 2008, her choices as actor and now producer show how much women like her can change things. Even as she talks up a storm and stays grounded, her focus remains laser sharp.
Anushka, a lot of people are going to ask me how on earth does one of India's biggest film stars get to be off-center? I mean, this is as mainstream center as you can get.
Now you have to answer that.
No, so you have to help me.
You have chosen me, so you have to answer.
No, so Anushka, you have to help me.
Huh.
Tell me how this industry is very, how it's changed because of people like you.
I think, when you are an outsider, when you come from outside of the industry, you don't have any preconceived notions about how you have to function here, or what your aspiration should be, or what role do you have to play, what path do you have to take. So I think you end up then taking some unconventional, making unconventional choices and taking some decisions that are off-center, which enables you to define your career differently. And I think today, I can digress and I can talk about how I believe that even my philosophy, now that we're producing films, is to work with people who come from different walks of life. I mean, in terms of they're not from the industry, they're new, because I feel like they add so much freshness to the mix, and I think that's one of the reasons why that is happening. There could be more.
Anushka, in the last 10 years, a lot of things have changed in the film business. You debuted with Rab Ne Bana Di Jodi in 2008. Yeah. What do you think are some of the fundamental changes and shifts that you have personally witnessed and experienced? Because you're seeing it like so up close.
I think the stories that we are telling are very different. We are a bit more intimate with the storytelling. That larger than life quotient, it's still there. There are still films that are made like that, but then we are also making a lot more films that are more realistic and talking about real people. And I think this is a beautiful and welcome change, because today, not because I'm an actor, just as a person who watches cinema, world cinema, you feel there's this a direction that you feel, or maybe an understanding that you get when you watch films which you might not otherwise have, and films educate you so much with that. And I don't mean like socially educate you, but just, and I think today we are doing that.
They sort of set your eye in a certain way, to make you sort of give you cues to relate
suddenly
to
what's
the world
happening in the world.
you.
I think I think like me when I was growing up, and obviously my father was in the army, so we didn't travel out of the country, but I knew so much about the world because of the films and the TV shows that I was watching, and today there's so much more of that. And when you see that in India, there's, you get to know if a film is made of some character from Chhattisgarh, you're getting to know so much about that place. And I feel like this is just interesting, because this is giving you new flavor, this is giving you newness, and ultimately at this time, people want to see something unique. I think so. People want their ideologies, people want them, their personalities to be reflected in movies.
And
earlier it was very aspirational.
And their issues to be dealt with in a
Exactly,
sense.
because earlier it was very aspirational, like we always grew up thinking, oh, this is so cool, it would be so cool to
but it's not my life.
Be Anjali of Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, or those films that we grew up on. But today I think that's not the case. I think today if you're like seeming a bit off and not like you belong in the real world, it's a bit like who's this person, and people don't connect to those characters really well.
You turned producer about a couple of years ago, 3 years ago with NH10. Why is that? What made you take that decision?
I've been asked this question so many times that I
have a theory.
What is it?
No.
As I'm progressing in this, and sometimes you realize in hindsight, things about or decisions that you've made. I do think that at that point in time in my career, I was feeling like I wanted more. I wanted more options. I wanted better roles.
Control?
I wanted to
more control in terms of roles, in terms of choices that you.
I think in the positive sense of control. Yes, not in the I want to control the narrative of this film.
I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah, but yes, definitely, because you want, and then the only way that I can add some diversity to my career is with the choices that I'm given. Then I make those choices. But I felt like that was not, the range wasn't that much. So there was that sense of not feeling fulfilled. That was there. So that was a latent thought. Then of course I would watch a lot of cinema with my brother, and we would keep seeing things and wondering, yeah, why don't we do this kind of stuff here, man? It's so easy to do. And we always saw like, we thought it was very feasible, like this, doing this and it working, it was possible, you know, and but it wasn't happening, we felt. And I always went for something, you know, I was always looking for something different with the films that I was picking or the characters that I was doing, but I could only choose from what I was being offered, you know. But what happened ultimately, so these are all the things that happened. Then there's another incident of Abhijat Joshi, who's the writer of PK, Munna Bhai, who was just talking to me one day, and he said, you know, you understand script so well. On set we were shooting, he said, you understand script so well, so why don't you go out there and find films. So this was like way before I decided to become producer. But all of these things, you know, now, today, in hindsight, I feel like all those have played a part in making my decision stronger. How I decided ultimately was when Einstein came to me. Einstein was a film that was not being made by anybody because it was a different film to pull, a difficult film to pull off. When that film came to me, I felt like there was so much potential in that film, and I was like, I have to do this film. And so, because it did the rounds and wasn't working, I knew that if I get into this film and produce this film, it'll be easier to pull off a film and pull off the budget of the film and make it a successful film. So that was the reason to do it, and it was just an instinct. But I realize now why the instinct was there, because it was building up.
So you told me once previously that...
I want to know what you thought though. You want to tell me now? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to try this now. So is it also a very pragmatic sense of how a career of an actor plays out, especially a female actor, no matter how successful, and you're super successful? Because I remember you telling me once that, you know, you have what, if you're lucky, 5, 7, 10, 12 years at best in this business, okay? In the spot that you're in. And you're going great guns. You've done just over 10 years, and you're just... you
less.
A little less than 10 years?
Like 9 years.
9 years. So, and you're, you know, at absolutely... I from the outside, I feel the zenith of what this industry has to offer a talented young woman. But is this some kind of, is it a pragmatic sense of how a career plays out? And you've seen that around you. Is there a bit of that?
I think that there must have been. Now that you say it, yes, I think so the decision to turn producer might not have been, but I was very sure.
You know,
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but it's a good point that you've made, because I used to think that I don't want my career to be, or I don't want what people think the right direction for an actress to take, you know, that direction that, you know, these are the kind of choices that you should make, this is how you become #1, this is how you, it never made sense to me, and I thought it was not something that would work in the long run, you know, and I did not want to have that existence. But at the same time, this was me from my very first film, you know, when right after my first film, a lot of people suggested that I should do a lot more films, I should be seen in these places, and you know, these are all things that people put in your head, because, and I'm sure they don't mean bad, it's just that that's how things have been, you know, so that's what people think is going to work. But it was always, it would bother me. I thought that is not the way I want my career to go, these are not the choices I want to make. So at that time the choices were very few, because obviously I was in the beginning of my career, but even then I tried to take, you know, tried to make the choices which I feel I'm somewhere now, what people understand of me. I was trying to do it from then.
For Clean Slate Films, which is your company, scripts are going to be important. The fact that people from different backgrounds, different parts of the country have talent and have, you know, the ability to want to craft films, and those people might get a better chance here maybe. What is going to determine the portfolio or the roster of films that, or the slate that you're going to be putting together? What's the business plan?
So basically, Clean Slate, the name of the company is for this very reason. Each time we will start a film, it's going to be a clean slate. There's going to be no baggage of what we've done before. So often enough, this happens when something works, like NH10 works. Then you think, oh, like this has worked. Should we make NH11? I mean, just but you know what I'm saying? Should we make that kind of film? You know, we don't want to be known for this is the kind of genre that this company, you know, sends out. We want to do everything.
So Anushka, how many movies a year? Over 2 years, over 5 years? What's the kind of money you earmarked in terms of, you know, how much money, how many films you will finance? What kind of budgets are you looking at?
Currently, after Filori releases, we have about 4-5 projects that we are simultaneously working on, as in they're on different stages of development. Some are on scripting stage, some are on casting stage, some we are ready to start filming. That, I think, the diversity that we're going to show would actually kind of, it's very difficult to, in the beginning of your start of something, to kind of tell people this is what we are doing. We want to back it with actually doing stuff, and yeah, so I think the budget would always depend on what the film is.
And is there Anushka in every film?
Not necessarily, because sometimes I'm not going to fit the part, sometimes because I might be too young or too old for the role.
Yeah.
And this company is not made to make films for Anushka Sharma. This is a proper production house. We want to just create movies and cinema.
So, you know, after Band Baja Barat, you had said, and I'm going to quote you, there's a little bit of respect that's coming in, and that's more than anything else. Respect is very, very, very important. You said it 3 times. Not that 10 people stand up when I walk in, but respect as an artist. Everybody wants respect for their work. That's one thing I crave for the most, right? This was, I think, 2011, after Band Baja Barat. Since then, you have done a whole bunch of big films, small films, all kinds of films. Would you be able to pick a few of them, or some of them, or one or couple, which have given you something else? So Band Baja Barat gave you respect. What did a Bombay Velvet give you? No matter how it fared. What did Sultan give you? What did Peak? You pick.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pick.
Yeah.
You'll have to pick.
So starting with Bombay Velvet, you're right, the film did not do well, but I stand by the film. It gave me perspective, actually.
Okay.
The time that I was shooting that film, I was feeling so involved with the movie, and I think Anurag Kashyap is that kind of a director. You know, he involves you in every stage of a film. That I started to just love cinema. You know, before that I was just so I was in it. I was still doing what I thought was right and doing things on my own terms, but I don't think that I was feeling involved, or I was feeling inspired by movies, you know. And I think that film did that for me. Every time I used to walk on that set, and we had a huge, like, it was like shooting in Universal Studios, you know, and get out of your car, and you know, there's this streets, Bombay streets that are made, like multiple streets, and I thought that was just such a, I was like, wow, what can
The scale,
yeah, the
what's
scale
possible.
and what cinema can do, you know. And I felt so important as an actor. Like both Ranbir and me, we used to keep talking about it, that, you know, we're feeling so good that I don't know how we're going to feel when we walk on another set after this, you know. So I think that film made me love cinema, and it kind of made me, I got this feeling inside that, yeah, I should do more. I should do something else. I think that's what that film did for me. What other films? NH10, of course, I guess, you know, it gave me, it empowered me.
Band Baja, respect.
Respect, recognition.
Yeah.
People changed the way they were looking at me, including Karan Johar, who decided to take me in his own film after thinking that I have no future in the industry. So that changed a lot of things for me. Bombay Velvet, I mentioned. NH10 empowered me, you know, made me
also a producer. I mean, it was
made me a producer, and also
levels.
the film becoming successful allows me to make another film right now. Films like Sultan, where I get recognition for my work and my contribution to the film in a Salman Khan film, which is you know, which is a big deal, because Salman Khan is larger than life, you know.
When I saw Sultan, I was like, I don't think Salman's ever had to work with a female character who has so many lines and so much to do in a film.
You know, I was very afraid when Adi called me, because I mean, I know that Adi knows me, and he knows the kind of person that I am, and Adi is somebody who's never forced me that you should do this film because it's my film. He's never put that. He's never imposed himself on me like that. So when he called me and he said, do you want to do Sultan? I got so scared, because I was like, Sultan? Why is he calling me for Sultan? Like, what am I going to do in Sultan? Because I didn't know what the script was about. And I got very worried, and he said, you know, Ali is going to come and narrate the film to you tonight. So I was just like, oh my God, how am I going to say no? I just decided that it was going to be something that I'll have nothing to do in. So when he narrated the film to me, I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
And then you felt bad for doubting your...
Then I'm like, no, this must be something. I'm going to read it myself. And I said, Ali, I'm going to read the film and I'll tell you tomorrow morning. So I was glad that actually that film came to me, and it's very important, because in a film, you know, you have to, Salman Khan is a huge star. People love him, they watch all his films, they worship him. And when I'm in a film like that, it obviously increases my fan base. It increases, it allows more people to to view me, to see me.
But you did PK before that, isn't it?
But I think Sultan just had a stronger role for me, you know.
Yeah.
PK, of course, PK again, it makes you, PK, Rab ne bana di jodi, Jab tak ye jaan, they increase your fan base because these films reach and they are liked by people who otherwise, I guess, would not probably like the other films that I do, you know. I hope they do. Maybe Filori will be different. But, you know, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. So, that's what Sultan did for me. And I think Ae Dil Hai Mushkil, I just thought I looked great in that film.
There was a lot of kajal, no? There was a lot of, the look was the cold, the cold lined eyes.
Stunning. That did great for my ego. I know, on a serious note, also my performance was really appreciated in a film like that. It was a very difficult film for me because I didn't believe in that character and what her thought process and her perspective in life was. So for me to pull it off and for people to understand her point of view in a film, that was a victory for me.
So what bit of the character you couldn't relate to? The fact that you'll spend so much time with the man and keep saying that you're my friend, and that,
no, that was fine because I think in my life also I've friend zoned a lot of boys. And a lot of that, some of, no, seriously, and you know, some of that experience I was actually bringing to the table. Like I discussed this with Karan and I told him, I said, Karan, see, this has happened in my real life. And I asked him to add a scene in the film where my character actually tells him that, you know, I don't want to be selfish. So I don't, if it's difficult for you, let's not be friends, which is the scene that happens under Aishwarya's house. So this was my suggestion to Karan and he took it. Because because like I said, I felt like that I had been through that. But what I did not understand about this person was that she was getting treated so badly by this guy, by Fawad's character, and she's still like madly in love with him. I would not do that. Like I would never do that. So I was just like, how can she be a doormat? Like I can't understand her, you know. But I think that is so important, to be given a role which is not you, a point of view which is not yours, and to be able to empathize with this character. So the day I gained empathy for this character, like I kept thinking, I worked so much on this film, you know, just to get her headspace. And when I finally got empathy for her, I was like, okay, now you have to show that to people. And the fact that people caught on that this is, you can be a messed up person, no? You can't always play the strong girl who knows it all. There are all kinds of people, and I want to play all kinds of characters and make people believe that all these people exist. So that was a huge payoff for me when people understood her point of view. Because her point of view, if that shakes any time in the film shakes, because she has to always, it's very difficult to do a film with Ranbir Kapoor and not let people for a second think there's any romantic inclination between the two, because also we've done a film before, you know. So that is something that was a challenge. So I was happy that it was accepted the way it was.
And you look very good.
And I look stunning.
The movie business, as we all know, has little or no time for feminists. But Anushka Sharma makes no bones about the fact that she's one.
Do you think in India, at least in the parts of India we inhabit, or the rarefied parts of India, urban India, do you think that feminism is at an inflection point, whether you see what's happening on college campuses, whether you see women in social media and how they get trolled or criticized or whatever it is. Do you think feminism is at an inflection point? Do you think more and more young Indian women are saying, "Bas, enough, no more"?
I hope so. And I hope,
Do you feel that?
See, the thing is, like, I keep saying this again and again, even though you've not asked me this question, but the concept of feminism is so abused. You know, what people understand of feminism is that this is male hating.
Which is absolutely incorrect.
Exactly, and people don't get it. If I'm standing up and saying that I'm a feminist, what I'm saying is that I believe in equal rights for men and women. So a man can be a feminist, you know. My father's a feminist, my brother's a feminist. So
absolutely.
So this is, I think, how people react without knowing what it is. So that's why they troll you. That's why they get after you, because they're thinking you're getting after them. But why would you get after them? You have your own things to do, you know. But yeah, I think the fact that we're talking about it, and there are women in important positions speaking about it, I'm sure it does inspire and make a young girl look at things differently or shape her mind differently, and I think that's very important.
And there are different kinds of feminists, and there are different approaches to feminism. What's your kind of feminism?
It's when you are in a industry which is doused and has been doused in so much male you know, worship. You know, our films are heavily, you know, male dominated. I feel like whenever you speak or you say something which is besides that ideology, people don't understand it, and I understand people. So I think I go a little bit deeper into it. I understand that people get threatened or insecure when an opinion is different or something is being said which is different from what they believe in, and I think that really, you know, ruffles them up. So I'll tell you what I think. I think that I will never.
Your kind of feminism.
Yeah, I think I will
your
never.
approach.
Yes, I will never take things lying down. I will do what I want to do. I will not let people define for me what my choices should be, and I think I have done that. And I will not accept things as I'm expected to, and I will let my work speak for it. It's a mindset that you have to change. And I think when the situation around people changes, their mindset will also start to change. But then you also need people to voice out what they think, and you need to speak up, and you need to, like, say what you're saying. At the same time, you need your work to also reflect that. You know, that's very important.
So Anushka, Kangana's kind of feminism makes a lot of people uncomfortable. Okay, does it make you uncomfortable? There's space for it.
I think I respect Kangana a lot because of, firstly, because she's a very good actor, and also because she's fearless and she says what she has to say, and she deserves to say what she wants to say. The thing is that I'm that live, let live.
Yeah.
So I feel like there should be all kinds of people, and people should just be allowed to say what they want to say. So the thing with me is that I don't want to fight with anybody. It's as simple as that.
But you want to get your way.
I will get my way, no matter what, you know. But I will not. I don't want to fight like that with someone, because I feel like it will really slow things down for me. You know, I can still do the same thing in a different direction, is what I think. Having said that, I do not say that what Kangana is saying is completely her right, and what she's saying is true. So it's completely correct. And yeah, and I think I'm sure she inspires a lot of girls to kind of just, you know, speak up. And because where she comes from also, you know, she comes from somewhere where she really made things on her own, and I think there should be pride in that, you know. And why should you not take pride in that? I take pride in the fact that I come from a non-film background and I've made my way here. It's very difficult, you know, because people who have been in films, they don't even realize it, but of course they have their own struggles, and they have all these issues of this hype that they have to deal with, and, you know, expectations and all of that. Is a different kind of struggle. But what they don't understand is, why should they understand?
This is a more visceral one, isn't it?
Yeah, because, you know what, every day there are decisions that I was making that I didn't understand anything of in the beginning of my career, and I was like, oh my God, if I take this wrong decision, it can affect the rest of my, and I had nobody to advise me on that, you know, because I can't go back to my parents and tell me what I should do, and my parents will get so worried that I think I would just be worrying them, so I don't want to disturb them. I have to shield them from it, you know. So when you get here, of course you will feel very proud of it, and you should feel proud of you know, where you've reached.
Today, career take? Plans for the future in terms of your own career goals and what you want to do with your talent and your life, and you know what you can access. You know, in love with the captain of India's cricket team, and this fantastic romance between cinema and cricket continues. You seem more restrained about expressing the fact that this relationship is part of your life, whereas Virat Kohli doesn't. Is that because of the way you are, or is that because you're a woman, or is that because of the way society around you has been with respect to your relationship?
You know, I just do things that come naturally to me. I don't force myself to do things because it's expected of me or whatever. And I think that's how people function. I don't talk about my personal life because it's very simple, because I have done that in the past and it has not worked out so well for me. The minute you start talking about your personal life, I don't even mention the word. The minute you start talking about your personal life, people think that they can, you know, they can continue to ask you. So for example, if I'm going to talk to you about it right now, I'll do another interview and there'll be an interviewer who'll say, oh, but you spoke to Anuradha Sen Gupta about it, so why aren't you talking to me? And then somehow, although I'm not obligated to, but somehow it's like, you know, you have to talk about it. So the reason I don't talk about Anuradha is because for some reason, I was doing the best work of my life, you know. I'd made NH10, I was, you know, I had PK, Sultan, all, but people somehow find your relationship, you know, entertaining, and it is not entertainment, and
it's hard work, and it's harder work, I'm guessing, for people in the harsh glare of the media spotlight.
Yes, and I want to, firstly, I want to shield myself, my career and my relationship from that. So I want people to know me as Anushka the actor, and I want everybody to just focus on that, because I'm working damn hard to do what I'm doing. And like, you know, you were saying that, you know, everything is so good and, you know, you have this and you have that, but what people don't understand is that I have that, but because I have that now, but I have done a lot of things to get there, and it was very hard. Whenever you're in a place like this, which expects you to work in a certain way, and you go besides that, it is not an easy thing. It is, there's a lot of you know, what do you call that, friction that you have to go through, which nobody knows about. So now people think about, oh great, this is there, you're producing films.
You can just see the outside, no?
People just see the outside, exactly, but nobody really knows what goes into it. So I worked damn hard to be where I am today, you know, and I don't want anyone to focus on anything else but that. And I'm a very normal person, so I do things very normally. So I'm not going to be going from the back entry of a hotel to hide myself. I will, but I don't owe an explanation to anybody. And I don't want to tell anybody anything.
So basically what you're
saying. And
at
the same time, I cannot tell my partner to do what he wants to do. If he thinks what he's doing, that's completely up to him. You know, so that's how I look at it. And
so basically, to my question, you should say, Anuradha, that's none of your business. Come on, say it.
But I was brought up really well.
Good for you, Anushka. I wish you a lot of good luck.
Thank you so much.
छोड़ो बेकार की बातों में कहीं बीत न जाए रहना, कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे